This is a better way.
Yeah. Okay, so I have an epiphany,
Okay.
and I don't know if this is true. It's just from observation.
Mm-hmm.
I have observed that it looks like it is possible for a man, a good man,
Mm-hmm.
to love a woman back to health. Like it's possible that a man who genuinely loves a woman, that love can be healing to her. Let me even tell you one of the reasons why I said that. So you remember that day that you told me that I have grown.
Mm.
And I was like, why, how, in what way exactly? And you said that you feel like I am freer, I am much more happier, I'm more. I seem to have let my head down a lot more. I'm no longer as uptight. Just something around that.
So your guards are not
Yes,
up.
exactly. I think those were your words, that my guards have, especially in this marriage, my guards have come down. And I responded and I said to you that it's because you have loved me and I have seen that I can be safe around you. My emotions, my actions are safe around you. And I don't feel judged. I don't feel like I have to perform. You have literally loved me out of brokenness back to health. And since that day, I've just been, once in a while, it just comes to my head and I think about it. And I know a couple of other people, even in real life. And I've seen certain things around. I've read books. I've seen things on social media. I've had conversations with people who are like, when you marry a good man, especially for people like us who are first daughters, on whom the responsibility to be perfect, comes upon very early.
Very early.
Yes, we are expected to be a good example, lead our younger ones, and we get into a marriage. I remember the first time you told me that I spoke to you as if you're my younger brother. I've never forgotten that. And I had to call myself to order and be like, this is not your father's house. Where you call all the shots, where nobody behaves. So you're the one who is burdened with the responsibility of putting everybody in line. This is now your own home, and your partner, both of you have to find a way to. He's not your he's not your child, he's not your younger brother, he's not your father even. He's your partner, and he's a good person. He's teachable, he's open to learning and all. So based off of that, I've just been thinking about it, that it looks as if much more women have experiences where they get into a marriage with a very good man, and it builds them up. Even when you hear women talking, they'll tell you that before I got married, I wasn't so and so. When I got married, my husband did this, my husband did that. I insisted that I do this, instead I do that. Puts the ambition in me. So I can't. There's so many examples of women that have been loved into their highest self. But I can't say the same for men. I can't say the same for men who are broken, who even marry good women. What it appears to be is that those men bring those women down. You see a good woman marrying a man, and at the end of the day, the man, nothing. The woman herself that was okay before, she has become worse than she was. I'm sure that there are a few examples of, women loving men, but even generally when we speak, we are like, you can't change a man. A man will have to decide that by himself that he wants to change. But if you are going into that believing that you can change that man, you can't. But I know men that will marry men. I'm like, don't worry, just leave her for me. I go use love wound her. And really, really, in some cases, of course, not all cases, because that's also a risk. You can't. A woman she's an agency. She's a full human being. You can't just go into it hoping that I will change her. It doesn't always work like that. But what I'm saying is that from observation, it appears to me that a lot more women can be loved back into health and healing as opposed to men. But I don't know if that's true. It's just my observation.
Okay. So your observation is not out of place, and I'll tell you why. It's true.
Okay.
The percentage of men that can love a woman and nurse her into greatness is higher than the percentage of women that can love broken men and nurse them into their highest potential. As a matter of fact, the percentage gap is very wide. And I'll tell you why. In our last video, I was saying that a man determines the atmosphere in his home. And the reason I said that is because of the enormous weight of responsibility that lies on the man as a result of the design of the institution of marriage.
Okay.
At work or in corporate organizations, you hear things like everything rises and falls on leadership, right? And the structural design of marriage is that the man is the head of the home. Well, single men are not the head of anything. Can go open WhatsApp group.
Sorry.
Well, anyways, that's by the way. But coming back to the conversation, right, is that the man has an enormous responsibility and sets the tone of the atmosphere of the home. Why? Because everything rises and falls on leadership.
Okay.
Leadership sets the tone for culture. It is not what you say, it is what you do. And that's what the children will imbibe. And that is what everybody would carry in the home. And the reason why it is harder for a woman to love and nurse a broken man is because for the man, when a man is broken, what is fundamentally attacked is his ego. That ego, once you are how do I put it now? Okay, so let me put it this way. The only litmus test, the only way that you can prove that a man has healed from his brokenness is that all of his decisions are not driven by ego. In other words, his ego is not at the driving seat of his decision making. Where you know that a man is fundamentally broken, you will see that his ego is under heavy guard.
Can you also say that a man whose ego is dead is also broken?
I don't think a man's ego is really ever dead.
But some people, yes, there's the part where everything, your ego literally is driving every single decision you make. Are so fragile, any little thing, But there is a very small subset of men who
They don't have
ego again.
I don't think they don't have ego again. I just think that they have resigned to defeat. You see, because
that's definitely a broken man too.
It is a broken man. So it's not like the ego is dead. The ego is not dead. The ego has just been suppressed. So, and I was going to that point where your ego has to be healthy. A healthy ego does not require protection. A healthy ego shape shifts, right? A healthy ego is one that you can speak to the driver or you can speak to the security guard, apologize for something that you have done, And when it is time for you to stand your ground and be firm and discipline that same person on something else that has been done, you do it, for lack of a better word, ruthlessly.
Or at least excellent.
Or at least excellently. A healthy ego is not one that requires protection. When you see anybody who people are always tiptoeing around, they don't know what they will say that will make this person flip.
Like
They don't know.
even everybody now has joined you to be protecting your own ego.
Do you understand? That is somebody that is definitely broken. And that's the reason why I said that the litmus test, the proof that this man has healed, is that his ego is not at the driving seat or the driver's seat of all of his decisions. So, I say that to come back to what you said in terms of why it's a bit difficult for the woman to nurse a broken man is because for a broken man, his ego is dead, in your words. I'm using your words now. Or let's say his ego lies dormant, or his ego is repressed. Let me use that term. Or it is completely under heavy guard. So what you see is they are polar opposite. It's moderacy lies between. A healthy ego is where the ego is at the center of two extremes. One extreme is that it is completely repressed. They are not ashamed of anything. Nothing is driving them. You know, a woman that is driven cannot help that kind of man.
True.
Because everything that you say will be interpreted through the lens of you don't respect me.
And that you don't respect me is even because of the ego.
Is because do you understand?
The ego is not
It's
dead.
not dead.
True. Yeah,
It's just repressed. Right? And there is a blame game going on. It is because of this or this or this. That's why I'm here. And for a man whose ego is under heavy guard, you also cannot help that kind of man because
You want to control me?
do you understand? You're trying to rub shoulders with me. I'm the man of this home and all of that. So you see, and that puts a cap because of the structure of marriage, which gives. That's why, for my female friends, I always see, you cannot afford to get it wrong. Because you are submitting your life literally to the leadership of somebody. It's like, let me tell you, there's a particular scene I love in Game of Thrones. It was between Cersei Lannister and Littlefinger. And I don't know I can't exactly remember what Littlefinger said, but he jam talked.
Is it where he said knowledge is power?
He said knowledge
is
power. Yes. And then Cersei Lannister said something. She said she commanded the armies to move 2 feet towards him, stretch their knives, and put it at his throat. And she said something to you. She said, "Power is power." Now, you see, no matter how good your ideas are, no matter how great your ideas are, it must bow to the acceptance of the power that be in any way.
Wow.
Now, the acceptance of that your idea is on the basis of you being liked.
I get. I'm following you.
Yeah.
I'm following you.
So
Say what you want to say.
a man I respect so much passed last year. Starting with talk of blessed. I will miss that man.
You miss him already.
I miss him. That man taught me a lot.
I even miss him for you. Is that bad?
I still haven't recovered from his passing. His PhD thesis was on likability in the workplace. And a lot of people look over those things and they laugh. Do you know that likable people can bury dead bodies and everybody will look the other way?
In this corporate world.
Now, you may argue and say, but my dear, they are in
people
the good
underestimate
books.
the power of being
underestimate
liked.
the power of being liked. You know, be smart all you want, it's good. But do well to ensure that to your smartness, add likability.
Because it will shock you the metrics by which people make
judgment
heavy decisions.
calls about
the
you.
metrics will shock you.
So if we go back to the structure of marriage and why it becomes difficult for the woman to make any meaningful change is because the person to whom the power is bestowed on in the marriage puts a cap on what you can or cannot do.
So I want to ask you now, so I'm thriving in this marriage because you let me.
You can say that.
So you are the power that be.
Yes. And I am aware of the weight of that responsibility. And that is the reason, and I steward it with so much caution because I know that I will account for it.
Do you know that if I was not married and I was hearing this, the way my blood would be rising, that what? Like some years ago, I would have been like, what exactly? What I say? But I think I'm beginning to understand
but
it.
It is the, you know, in every institution there is a design.
Do you believe?
There is governance. In the institution of marriage, there is governance.
You can tell that I'm still finding it a little bit hard to swallow it. And I think for me, why it looks like I'm finding it hard is because it's not obvious to me.
Yeah.
It's not if we don't it is only when we're having this kind of conversations that these kind of things come up. It doesn't come up in our everyday because you are a great leader. You don't make certain things obvious.
Oh, am I?
Yes, you are. You are trying now. Yes, you are. You are. You recognize you are a great. So there is. I feel like for us, you are a great leader, but you are also my partner. You are also my partner. And from what you are saying, I desired a partner when I was getting married, but this only is working because you also desired a partner. So if I was going for partnership and you were going for lordship, this would not have worked.
There you have it.
No, I told you I'll be a man in my next life.
You know,
but yeah,
one of the things that we have discussed in this marriage many years ago, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, is the power dynamics in marriage.
You know, the first time I heard power dynamics, I was like, what's going on here? You know, the first time I heard power dynamics, I don't know if you remember that time, it was a topic they were going to discuss in church. I'm like, power dynamics in marriage? Are we playing here? And then we had a conversation and we're like, okay, actually, because it is not very obvious in our home, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We've been in places where it is very pronounced.
Oh yes.
We've seen families where it is very, very, very pronounced. And I know we started to talk about it and be like, I started to accept that actually in every home there is power dynamics, but then it behoves upon the person who has the power to bring the other person up to their level.
Exactly.
That's also, I believe, what being a bridegroom entails.
Exactly.
I was still thinking about it today, that I like how both of us have grown together. Because a lot of people say that one of the things that causes marriages to causes people to stop liking each other or whatever, or causes the attraction to stop, or just causes stillness, is that people are not growing on the same level. And I remembered when you talked to me about emotional intelligence. I'll tell you guys that story one of these days, but I remember those times after service where you were learning stuff. Everything you learn, you will tell me. Everything you learn, you will tell me. Any book I read, I'll give it to you. Like we still do that
we still constantly I mean, this podcast started because I was sharing an epiphany with you. So we constantly exchange ideas and just go through them together. Then I realized, like, so back to the power dynamic conversation, that it actually behoves upon the person who has more to put, because if we are going to be doing a partnership, there's a level of equality that happens here. I know that in the eyes of God, the man is the partner, but we can also operate a system that does not dehumanize the other person in any way.
Yeah.
So when one person is making more money, it behoves because as I'm saying this, and I'm remembering how our budget system started. It behoves upon the other person to say, we're running a commonwealth here.
Exactly.
My win is your win, your win is my win.
Exactly.
When another person is more educated, it behoves upon that person who is higher to bring up the other person and be like, no, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, because I see how it can help you in whatever way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, to come back to what started this conversation around the man, you know, there's a lot of work, a lot, and I say, you know, we've had this conversation. I think we even had this conversation maybe 2 or 3 days ago around, okay, men need to go out of their way and seek knowledge that will make them better than their fathers.
Yes.
Rather than saying,
yeah, we're actually having that
taught.
conversation before we
we're
even
not
saw,
taught.
yeah.
We're not taught. We're not taught. It's true that not a lot of men are taught. Where men will gather business conferences or go and watch football. I'm not saying those things are bad. They are not bad, you know. But the time invested in becoming better people is not often taken seriously. Some are now even taking it seriously, but you know, and then the why of also getting married is another question.
I don't think a lot of people ask themselves
Why
that question.
did you choose to get? That's why, you know, so it's so when the woman comes into the marriage and the man has healed and the woman is still broken, the man, although there are some situations where the woman can just be a lost cause because you try,
Yes.
but the chances of being able to use your veto power in some scenarios works. The reason why it will not work if the roles were reversed is because of the structure.
And a man will rebel against veto. If you want to use power against him,
do you understand?
Like,
The structure of the marriage. And that's why I will keep saying that the atmosphere in the home is driven by the man.
Should we talk about this thing you just said? Because I was telling you very recently that the first time I heard you say that was on our 5 years anniversary video. And I was a bit confused when you were saying that, like, the atmosphere of the home is controlled by a man, because we had not had the conversation prior. And I was telling you that I believe that you had been meditating on it for a while, but you didn't get the opportunity to say it before that video. And I was just like, wait, the atmosphere of it that's contradicted what I grew up knowing, I read, everybody, well, from what I know, a good woman builds her home. I know that a lot of people have abused that part of the Bible and do whatever, but it is in the Bible that a good woman builds her home. So in my head, my atmosphere is controlled by me. You walk into this house, I get to control the atmosphere. I determine and in a lot of ways I do. But when I heard you explain the concept of a man actually controls the atmosphere in his home, I struggled with it for a while. But like I said, even in the past few months, I have observed how that is true. I have observed how, because you are under control, even when the storm hits, it's easier for me to relax. Something recently happened and I told you that I was already preparing for the storm. I was preparing that, okay, I don't know how my husband is going to handle this. I don't think this is going to be easy on him. I have to be prepared to take the emotional reins, meaning even when he does something I should understand that it is because of this thing that has happened that is acting this way. But I realize that you've not even flinched. And because you are so calm, because you're handling it well, I've not had to walk on eggshells. I've not had to manage you and manage your ego and your emotions. The home is peaceful because you have taken control of yourself, even in the difficult time. So maybe let's stay a little bit, and you are in a better position to talk about it because you are the man. So maybe let's stay on it a little and talk about how a man controls the atmosphere of his house.
Okay, so let me paint a hypothetical situation. Let's assume a man goes out and has a terrible day, right? When I mean terrible day, maybe terrible day.
Yeah.
And the moment he enters into the house, scenario one, the kids rush to him and he holds them, kisses them. Oh, how's school been? This, that, and all that. And then you come. Now, let's even imagine that he had not given you a prior information about what had happened. Or let's even say he gives you an either ways, right? And he comes home. Okay, let's even say he gave you the information before coming home because he's your G. Calls you and tells you. Then kids come. And then he holds them, kisses them, plays with them, try to, house school and all that, and then try to put them to sleep. Then go. And then goes into the room with you. And what will be going through your mind at that moment?
As a wife. I can't wait for you to be done with those kids and just come, let me hold you and make your life better and just easy. Let you know that, you can breathe here.
Exactly. Now, what that man had done upon entering into the home is to ensure that what had happened does not disinfect the peace and the harmony that his children and his household enjoys, of which he is a custodian of. And that he is not driven by his feelings alone. And what he's doing at that point is not hiding his feelings. No. Now, scenario 2, something similar happens. He does not tell you, or he even tells you. And then he comes home, and the children try to come, and they're just like, no, not today, no, and just walk. What is the next thing that you will do? You will tell the kids, it's not today, go home, go and sleep. Everybody just
leave
daddy alone. And let's assume those kids are in their formative years. They don't understand what you're saying. Why should we leave daddy alone? What has happened? Now, and I'm not saying that the man doesn't have the right to onboarding. No. You see, there was something Ejime said in that podcast.
Ejimi.
Is he Ejimi? Okay, is Ejimi.
You're mixing two people's names.
Ejimi said in that podcast that when he said that, I smiled because it's something I've believed for a very long time. And it's at the heart of what I teach when I talk about a child needs to enjoy acceptance. He said, you are loved for who you are, not what you do.
Yeah.
So, if you choose to come into your home and express love to your children for who they are and not what has happened, then you are taking charge. So, I gave that example to, usher us into the conversation of the man being responsible for taking charge of the atmosphere in the home. Okay. When a man is not conscious of how he behaves, the emotional energy he carries, what he does is he gives his wife twice the work she's required to do. It's like, let me say, for example, and I'm not saying I do this, but if I go around the house farting, I give you the job of carrying Febreze and spraying everywhere. When I can just move around and not contaminate the atmosphere and everybody will be at peace, right? So what I've seen most women do is trying to change an atmosphere and overworking, burnt out, angry, upset, Why?
And you know the thing is that they can't even do that, because I realize now that there are people who, once their father comes in, everybody just scurries away.
Simple.
Everybody just disappears. Like, you were saying those children are in their formative years. That character starts to build that, okay, when daddy comes, daddy is volatile. We don't know if he's happy today. We don't know if he's not happy today. Once he comes in, even mommy will follow him and run away. Okay, finish.
I'll give you a typical example. I know someone who knew the headlamp design
of their father's car.
Didn't
we all? And the sound of the horn.
Do you know the amount of critical thinking you need to deploy to be able to decode that? Because when the car is coming and it's night, you can't see the body of the car, but once you see the light, you know.
And you're not, and it's your body giving you signals.
Yes.
It's not joy.
It's not joy. That light and horn signals take cover. Just signals take cover, and you going, and you are locked in for the entire night. Whether the person coming is happy or unhappy,
not, you don't want to even
find out. But your mom now has to do the extra work of convincing you.
Your daddy is nice.
He's not a bad person, no.
But it's only you that know that one.
That's after the fact.
That's after the fact. You are not interested now.
That's after the fact. So that's why I say that for a home, I put the responsibility on the man, because I see the atmosphere of a home as a culture. And in the architecture of culture design, right? Culture is like an iceberg theory. On the surface, what you see are the policies, the rules, the handbook, etc. and all that. Underneath, which forms 90% of what is holding that iceberg up, is the unspoken rules, the grapevine conversations. What is rewarded and what is frowned at. The unspoken rules of engagement, the expectations. Those things. Leadership sets the tone by either active participation or passive participation. So, if we bring that same concept back into the home, it beholds upon the leadership of the home to set the tone for the culture.
Maybe you're right. Because now that I think about every single scenario that I know, while the mother is, yes, she has her own very important role to play, you notice that a lot of times it is how the father is that the home also responds.
Most times she's playing catch up and repairing.
Yes, she's just literally cleaning up after him, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise.
Exactly.
I have a question, or I have a statement and a question. So a man who takes leadership, who ensures that the atmosphere of the home is right, just imagine having that kind of man and having a solid partner who buys into that vision and also works with him to ensure that, the home is good. I can only but imagine, well, I don't have to imagine too much because it's literally my reality, but I can imagine how well
that kind of home is grounded, and the quality of children that come from that kind of home, because there's nothing like emotional stability.
Absolutely.
It's not your job to make the children happy, but I mean, it's not anybody's job to make children happy. Children have to do things that they don't like just to achieve the eventual goal, but there's something about emotional stability.
Absolutely.
And I know it's easier said than done, but it's possible.
You see, I was thinking about this earlier today, and there's a lot of boldness. And again, there was a recent conversation around, rape, no rape, accusation around rape, was it true or not? I'm not here to really talk about whether or not the accusation was true or false, right? And I condemn by every means. If, it eventually came out that it was a false accusation, right? And I condemn that by every means. But my conversation here is really, why is rape on such a rise, and the boldness behind it? It's not new. Rape is not new. The media is just amplifying it. It's not new. People have been raping people from time immemorial. But there is this, I don't know what I even call it, a sudden boldness behind it. Because whether or not that
behind
thing
the
is
act
true,
or behind the
act, where
okay.
Someone can, a male species can rape somebody and boldly tell them that nothing will happen. And go and celebrate it among his friends. And it will be celebrated. Now, the reason why that is happening is because homes are broken.
Oh, baby, how bad does the home have to be for a human being to do that?
Let me give you an example. There is nothing natural about deriving sexual pleasure from inflicting pain on another person. Anybody can take me up on this argument.
But what of those people who do BDSM? Both people are consenting.
I'm telling you, my love.
But nature comes in different variants.
There is nothing natural. I make bold to say, and I'm open to anybody who would take me up on the conversation. There is nothing natural about deriving sexual pleasure from inflicting pain on another person.
What of from being inflicted? People who get the pain on themselves.
That is called sadomasochism.
Yeah.
Now, I know of someone. Oh, your eyes are opening because, of course, I know of someone who cannot derive sexual pleasure without being forced to have sex.
That's
yes.
rape now. Is that not rape?
That's not rape. When I say forced, like, you have to force because you are saying, what about people who derive pleasure by the pain being inflicted on them?
Yes.
Your imagination is, wipe them or pinch them, or it's still pain.
Yeah.
Forcing your way is still pain.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you, I've been in this work for what?
It's why
over how
long? You don't even tell me all these things because I can't. Even this rape conversation, I don't know if you noticed that I didn't touch it at all. Because I don't have
I'm telling you from experience and from knowledge. And the reason why this is happening to this person is because this person had experienced sexual molestation in the past.
Oh Lord, my God.
So I'm telling you that there is nothing natural about deriving sexual pleasure from inflicting pain on another person
or receiving
pain in return. There is nothing natural about it.
I agree with you.
Sadomasochism is a fancy term
for what I think should be a mental illness.
Broken soul.
A broken soul, yeah, that's deeper.
It is because when people oftentimes cannot truly go to the root of what is happening, they give it a label.
A fancy label.
And that label becomes a plaster. that is used to cover a deep wound that has not healed. So, the question I always ask is, how did you get to the point where the only way you can derive sexual pleasure is by inflicting pain on another person or receiving pain in return? Let's have an honest conversation behind the cameras, where nobody is watching you, where you are not the star of the moment, where you are not the center of attraction, where you are not under any satellites, where you are not expected to perform or have your shit together, for lack of a better word, right? And let's have an honest conversation, soul to soul, and tell me what went wrong.
Would these people even be able to pinpoint?
They may
what went
not
wrong?
be able to pinpoint, and that is the reason, and that is where therapy really comes. You know, therapy is not, and I did a video about it, which I'm going to probably post in a couple of days. Therapy is not a quick fix. Therapy is a place where you are invited back into life.
Are there...
And it requires you to give yourself grace. So, a good therapist knows how. It's not necessarily about techniques. A good therapist knows how to create rapport first. Because in the place of rapport, anything can happen. Rapport is the safety net. You know, when people come into therapy, or when you see people out there, everybody is performing, wearing a mask, everybody is trying to, you know, and all of that. And I'm not saying, but that's why I say when we come into the secret place where you are not required to be the boss in the office, or the chairman of the board, or the celebrity with 17 million followers, who is expected to have it all together. At that level, who are you? And what pain are you trying to numb? What are you running from? So I make bold to say again that there is nothing natural about deriving sexual pleasure from inflicting pain on somebody else or accepting pain. We learned it. The question is where and why.
Are there people that therapy cannot save? Are there cases that...
So, I'm a Christian. And I'm unapologetically one. And what I have probably never said before is that I pray for all my clients. And my prayer is that the maker of the soul will heal their soul. Because I do not come to them by chance. This work is a ministry for me.
True. I agree.
And it is founded on a portion of scripture. And I've told you that before.
Yes,
This will
yes,
probably
we've
be the
had this
first time I'll be
conversation.
talking about it.
Do you want to talk
publicly,
about
and
it?
I'm not even sure. Okay, let me not even talk about it. Let me move on from it. But I believe in God, and He is the ultimate creator of the soul. Therapy is a tool that He can use. Just like medicine.
Yeah.
They will tell you, we treat, God
heals.
heals. So, therapy treats.
You're like a doctor of the soul.
Exactly. And then God heals the soul. Because a twisted soul is a twisted soul.
See, I think about these things sometimes, and I'm like, see, There are people who, yes, it adds up. You come from this kind of home, But we've also talked about people who it looks like everything is okay. When you search the background, there's nothing. And I've asked you before that, are there people who are who are born with a twisted soul, who are born with their brain juices, contaminated? I think we've deviated from
That's a rabbit hole that we're about to go
gone down
into.
a rabbit hole, and I don't think I want us to go down that road. Maybe let's
not
backtrack.
today.
Yes.
Maybe
Maybe let's backtrack. So I hear when you said what you said about the man being the leader of the home and the atmosphere depending on him. When men talk about pressure, because I hear men talk about pressure a lot, and I hear women talk about pressure a lot as well. I've told you before that women, especially like when I entered into my 30s, I started to understand womanhood. And my heart for women began to I have a heart for women, and I know that there's something I can do there. I also have a heart for men, and I've told you this before. I've told you this before. And I told you how I felt when I found out we're having a boy, and I was like, this is my opportunity to change the world. I do have a heart for men, but I'm not called to men because I know that men will not listen to me.
That's an assumption. But
men don't listen. Okay, so no, I'm not saying men don't listen. What I want to say is men listen more to themselves.
Okay.
Many times when it comes from another, my husband listens to me. That's because of the way it's because he rates me, basically. There are women who will tell you that my husband will listen to me, even if I say this thing. If it comes from another man, another man says the exact same thing, he will listen. And I think it's common knowledge that men prefer to listen to men. So I hear a lot of men talk about pressure. To be a man is a lot of pressure, the home, the finances, pressure. I was listening to something and somebody was saying, he's afraid to get married. And the person who was anchoring the program was saying, that there's a lot of pressure on men. Just I keep asking myself, this pressure, when you ask a man to explain what the pressure is, many times you won't understand. That's the first thing he will say. You won't understand. The next thing they'll say is, it's financial pressure. And I'm wondering, okay, now a lot of men are working. A lot of their wives are also working. There are situations where, yes, the woman is not making as much as the man. The woman is making as much as the man. And then there are cases where, and they're not just few cases anymore these days, where the woman is even making much more than the man. And the woman is also getting pregnant. At least you've seen me go through pregnancy. You have an idea. Of course, you can't get the whole thing because you've never been pregnant, but you saw me. You have an idea of what it feels like to go through that, to go through postpartum and all that. She's working, she's making the money, she's going through that. Sometimes as well, you have women who are in a position where the entire running of the home falls upon them. If they are domestic staff, she has to bear that responsibility. She might also be someone who has a business that is running, that has staff she needs to deal with, she needs to organize. She comes home, her work doesn't end because she's dealing with a different set of staff. Depending on her levels, either she's dealing with staff at home or she's doing the work herself. When you go to gathering, what I'm pretty much trying to say is when you go to a gathering of women, you hear them talk a lot about pressure. When you go to a gathering of men, you hear them talk a lot about pressure. So if the both of you now are carrying the financial pressure and the woman is carrying the physical and otherwise, when men say pressure, what exactly do they mean? This leadership thing that you have spoken about, is it part of is it what they refer to as pressure?
Why do you have that look on your face?
Because I'm not trying to minimize. I just would like to understand.
No, pressure is pressure. Men carry their pressure. Women carry their pressure. And the way I see it is, there's just an unnecessary competition to be superior,
to be
than
the one that has the more pressure.
And I'm
Whereas
just and
pressure
I'm
is
saying it,
shared.
I say that carefully. There's just an unnecessary. I believe that one of the things I've always been convinced about for the longest possible time is the man and the woman have unique roles to play in the home.
I agree.
When the man tries to prove that he performs more function than the woman, there's problem.
That's competition now.
And when the woman tries to prove that she performs more function than the man, there's problem. Where peace happens is where the both of you rest in your roles and accept the responsibility and the weight of that responsibility that comes with your role. I think that if we come to men just dismissing and saying you don't understand, I think that's quite dismissive. Maybe, just maybe, it also could come from previous experience where they've also tried to talk and they are not taken seriously. And they're like, hey, boy, you're a man now. Handle it. It may be said passively, but it's taken. Right? It makes an impression. Although say, hey, but Naman you be now. For those who don't listen, who don't understand, we say Naman is a Nigerian parlance that means you're a man. Right? Just accept it and move on. So that's why you see half the men. I actually think that men listen to women who they perceive is ready to listen to them.
Someone who comes with an open mind.
Exactly. There are some women who don't come to men to defend with feminine agenda. While there are some women, you can, let's take for example, when I teach about communication, active listening involves listening to understand and not to respond.
You've taught me that in this marriage. Can't you tell that I'm a better listener?
Yes,
now?
you are a better listener, right? I feel like a lot of times what is happening is that in those kind of heated conversation, people are listening to respond and not understand. We are just throwing points from the man to the woman, from the woman to the man. Nobody's trying to understand each other. And that's where I think most times the man will just hold his ground and say, woman will not understand. Women will not say, men will never understand. That's why in their both worlds, they will talk, they will come back to their house and then
because again, because I keep asking myself, why are the both of you not having these conversations? Why are you carrying so much pressure and your husband is not helping you? And you are carrying pressure on your wife. Like,
that is the problem. I saw a clip. This was about 2 months ago. 2 months ago, and I posted about it as well. Late Pastor Bimbo Duque, she made a very hilarious comment. It was very hilarious, but there was a lot of sense in it. She said, and it was for people that were not married anyways. She said, unmarried people use the mouth they're supposed to use to talk to kiss. A lot of married people
don't
use that mouth to either kiss or talk. So I don't even know what
they're using their mouth to do, to complain to other people outside.
To other people. I say this thing, within corporate circles a lot, is the world is a better place when we speak to each other rather than about each other. As a man, what pressure are you facing that you cannot discuss? If you cannot discuss with your wife, you are the problem.
My love, men don't suffer for your hand. Even me, I'm pitying them now.
No. If you cannot discuss that pressure with that woman, you are the problem because you made that choice. You married somebody that you cannot.
Is not capable of handling.
That is not. Do you understand? You marry somebody who does not have the capacity to handle the dynasty that both of you are supposed to be building together. And if you as a woman, you are under pressure, you're going to die. He cannot take the children to work. I cannot leave children with him. One day, children will die. I cannot do this. You are the problem.
Actually.
Because you married somebody who you want to babysit all the days of your life.
You know how they say he's my first child. Oh, okay.
We were in the university when I first heard this thing, and it was from Pastor Kinsley Okonkwo. It was in one of the messages of LDM, right? He said, I think was given an illustration, and he said that the man and the woman said the woman cannot on gen, and the gen is Kickstarter. He said, no, cannot let her do it. What do you mean? Enter on the
I
chain.
think that was where you now start talking about not spoiling your spouse.
Yes.
But
Yes.
baby, you spoil me now.
No, I cannot allow you to go and be looking for mechanic to fix the car. No, now. I cannot do that. So these are the issues. Let me give you a typical example. You know, one of the days, as cars will do, right? One of our cars broke down on your way from the office with your colleagues inside. Did I come and meet you there?
Yeah.
But you called me, right? No, I didn't come.
No,
I
you didn't come. You didn't come.
meet you
It
there.
was the one at
Yes,
Sprouts that you came.
that I came. You called me. I was on the first. Okay, do this. All of you lock yourself inside. Lock your property. Somebody will come and did the car? Did you and the car not come home?
Yeah.
But you see some men say, stop it. I'm coming. They will enter bike
It's
for
love
wherever they
now.
are. My dear, is love, but it is not responsible love. Love is not everything you want I'll do for you. Love is the things I believe that
Love
are
is
good
also
for
empowering
you. It's
you.
empowering you.
Because you know
because
how you
if I'm not
usually-
around,
exactly, you
what
see that a
happens?
lot, that when you are not around, you don't want it to be as if you are not around. Like you
Exactly.
don't want me to be so stranded and
Exactly.
confused.
That you don't know exactly what to do. So if
But you be around.
of course I'll be around. I mean, no, what I'm talking about, like, okay, travel, and
I
of course,
understand.
you know, there was a time when I was traveling every now and then,
Yeah,
right?
I was home alone.
You were home alone.
At the point,
So-
I was even pregnant at home.
Exactly. Do you get?
Imagine I couldn't drive that morning.
Do you get?
There was a morning, so for those that listen, there was something that happened very early on in pregnancy, and I was home alone. My husband was on his way back to Nigeria that day, and something happened. So just imagine I couldn't. No.
So, right? You know, you are not meant to carry the pressure all by yourself. That's why you have a helpmeet. And that's why you were given a helpmeet. The problem now is that you are choosing to carry it all by yourself, not get your helpmeet involved, hold expectations from your helpmeet, not communicate that expectation and hold resentment. That's what's happening.
That's nobody's helping you.
That nobody's helping you.
The
Oh,
man
you don't
suffer.
understand. The man doesn't know anything. What do you mean?
Because sometimes I hear these things and I'm like, is my husband deceiving me?
Wow.
No, it's true. I'm just like, is my husband? You know, we've also grown with regards to allowing each other carry our burdens, you know, bearing one another's burdens. Even with the grief we had to go through, I think we tried in how we handled the situation. Because remember, a lot of people will call and say, you know how men are, you might shut down, you might not be doing this, you might not be doing that. And I remember we had several conversations where I was like, you know what, I know everybody's telling you to take care of me, but I want you to also be fine, because this was our child. You just did not carry this pregnancy. The moment I dropped the baby, you took him and literally carried him for the 40 days that he was here. And by God's grace, you were able to also allow yourself, even though we are different, you know. So I know I would listen to a lot of people. I'm just like, my husband, is he carrying? That's why when Essay posted that stuff, that she does not know if her husband is really happy, you know, I was like, me too. And you know, I told you towards last year that the only problem I have with you is that I don't know how to serve you. I don't know what more to do. Like, I don't know how much more I can help you, I can serve you, because you don't want anything. Like, you know, you're like, baby, you're fine, everything I want, you've already given me. Like, are you sure you don't want more? I should just be there. You're sure you don't want more? Because I know what people demand of their wives. And even those ones that are demanding, they're still complaining. And if you're not complaining, you know, that's why I even try to, I won't say push you, but I try to encourage you into like your male friendships. And then I'll come like, baby, are you talking to your friend? Because I know you talk to me, but the way I will complain. So I have to tell my friend that men are different. If he says he's fine, he's most likely fine. It's because you have wahala. You expect that the man too will have wahala, but since he does not have wahala, I want you, okay,
as I'm giving you wahala, it's okay to give me back. Oh, it's okay. I can take it. I can manage you the way you're managing me. So, are you suffering in silence?
Not one bit. I'm not suffering in silence. What truly makes me happy is, and I'm not, is your happiness.
What of your own happiness?
No, of course, my happiness will make me, like, me, that one of the ways I reward myself is that I buy myself shoes.
And you see that I've left you to it.
So, for me, fundamentally, when it comes to you, one of the ways I expect you to serve me is by not leaving yourself to honokwa. For those who don't understand what the word honokwa means, I'll explain. Honokwa means not leaving yourself to scatter.
Honokwa literally means when the leaves of a tree are like
falling
down. Yes, they're falling off because they are withered.
Yeah, exactly.
So I saw something on Instagram, so it's true. And I sent it to my friend, I sent it to Essay. And he said that men are happy to take care of you when you're taking care of yourself, when you're more focused on yourself.
Yes.
What a lot of women do is abandon themselves and focus on the man. But if you focus on yourself, the man is happy to pour all his attention on you to make sure that, okay, this is what you like, and be fine, take it and be doing it.
Yes.
And I was like, okay. And I didn't show you that video, but you just literally repeated what that man said.
Oh, see.
Wow.
So
it's gonna make my hair.
It's not even really about making that
It's
one
part
self
of
is
it.
involved. It's part of it.
Because I told you how you were gushing over me when I made my hair in January.
Yes. And you can see too that in this marriage I have improved my dress selecting skills.
Yeah. Oh, Francis is my stylist now.
I now style you.
Even yourself.
Before, when you style, like no. But now I now style you.
Yes, and you've also started saying the truth, at least small. Before I'll wear something like this, my husband will say, "You always look beautiful." My love, the mirror is saying a different story.
You are beautiful in my eyes, my dear.
But I want to be beautiful
in the eyes of others.
In my own eyes too.
Sure. So, but that's basically it for me, right? I think, you being able to be happy gives me a lot of happiness.
You being happy gives me a lot of happiness too. It's just that.
And I think that is also, this thing that we're just talking about, as you're talking about it, I was just ruminating on it, and I think that is one of the passive, casual, but deep secrets that make relationships beautiful. Which is, I seek
your highest good.
I seek your highest good, and you seek my highest good. That way, there is an exchange, and it's not a parasitic relationship. I know. Okay.
Okay, this is very unscripted. These are the kind of very random
conversations that we have in our home, and I think, going forward we'll be publishing the ones we can. We'll try podcast episodes.
They're usually not planned.
Yes.
But whenever we catch ourselves, maybe
exactly.
We'll just.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, today wasn't even planned, so we just started talking like, you know what? This is an episode. Let's pause and let's record it. So, if you enjoyed this, let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the podcast. Share it with someone you think needs to listen. Send us feedback. If there's something, you have a question, or you think there's something you want us to talk about, we can script that, have responses. Follow my wife's YouTube channel. There's a lot of value in there. You can also find me on Instagram. And then on TikTok. I'm on TikTok now.
Sending in dilemmas.
Maybe they can start sending in dilemmas,
Francis is the qualified therapist. I'll laugh small, but I won't.
You can start sending in dilemmas, and we can talk about them. I'm also beginning to realize that a lot of people have unanswered questions in the area of relationship and love. So yeah, thank you. And yeah. Mwah. Did I just get mwah?